It is 4 o'clock, and we're going to go ahead and get started. This is the meeting where we set our agenda for next week when we will vote on the items that we discussed today. You will note that next week there will be several presentations. And as we get started, because there are a lot of items on the consent agenda, rather than asking if you have questions on the entire agenda, I will ask if you have any questions on items on the first page. That would be items 1 through 3. Seeing no lights on, we'll go to the second page where we have items 4 through 7. Does anyone have a question or like a presentation on any of those items? Director Adcock, you're recognized.
Item 6, please.
Item 6, I believe that would be Ronnie.
Mr. Lowe.
Ronnie, that's lots and lots of money. So can you tell us $700,000 what exactly we're going to do to that area?
Yes, ma'am. That is a large project. That was one of the Ward 1 projects early on. This is reclaiming the old Fush Channel behind the houses on Plantation Drive. And this project it's about a little over 2,000 feet of channel that is silted in, and it's got standing water, stagnant water, and this is the project that was selected to go in there. This will fill in about 300 feet of that channel and dig out the rest of that channel to about 4 to 5 feet deep.
Okay, the people out there over the last several years have complained about the mosquitoes, how bad they are in that area. Would this do something to that? That
is the intent, is to create water that flows in and out from the river and creates a pool of water that has enough depth to maintain fish and aquatic life that would keep the mosquito population down.
I know lots of people out there like the fishing too, so this will help the fishing in that area.
Yes.
Okay, $700,000. Did all this money come out of Ward 1, or was some of this other funds that we used?
This is all of Ward 1, yes.
Okay.
Now, if you look, the bid price, the bid price was about $600,000, and there's some contingency on top of that. So, hopefully, we don't have to spend the full $700,000 out there. But that's
okay. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Director Fortson.
You may want to stay there, Mr. Lowe.
Yes, sir.
My question is about number 5. We're paying a consultant to tell us whether we need to raise rates.
That's exactly what we're doing. Yes, sir. This is reviewing the cost of services for solid waste to look at what each of our different practices that we do cost, trying to break down what the actual cost for the services are and try to establish if we are to maintain that for a certain period of time, what those rates may be.
We don't have the capacity to do that ourselves?
Yes, sir. We can do that with staff we have. We don't have an engineer on staff out at solid waste right now, so that's who would probably do that.
When was the last time we looked at those rates?
Your solid waste rate has not changed for solid waste services since 2004. It has gone up a couple of times since then, but that's only pass-throughs for recycling contracts.
Okay.
All right.
Got it.
That's all for now.
Director Hendricks.
Thank you, Ron. I don't know whether you're familiar with this area, but the Swift family, who lives right in front. Have you met Mr. Swift? Maybe not.
Joshua Swift.
We've been working on this for many, many years, and I know they're going to be real proud. So this is something that was discovered a long time ago.
Yes.
Thanks.
All right.
Thank you, Director Hendricks. Director Wyrick, and I think that you might as well just stay, if you don't mind. Director Wyrick.
Thank you. So, Mr. Lowe, what all are you looking at whenever you look at this study? Are you looking at the personnel that it takes to pick up all the stuff on the curb? Are you looking at trucks? Are you looking at landfill cost? What all is involved in this?
This is mainly looking at the collection side, looking at what it costs for us to perform garbage service, yard waste service, these on-calls, the roll-off service. We provide all those, trying to put a cost to all those and put those together to show, where your rate structure is and what it should be, and try to project what it should be down in the future.
Okay, so you are looking at people, you are looking at equipment, you are looking at the amount of waste that we see on the sides of the street. See, I think we're understaffed in order to pick up everything that we have out there. I drive the streets every day, and I'm just dismayed at the stuff that I see. Okay, so that's what this is all about. $55,000. So this is to execute a contract with this Burns and McDonald for $55,000. Okay, are they familiar with the type of work that we do enough to give us? What is their background?
Burns McDonald is a firm that does these type of solid waste studies across the country. They're out of the Houston or South Texas area, and they do this all over the country.
Okay, sometimes when we get a low bid, we might not always get the people that have the expertise. So.
This would be a qualifications-based selection here, and negotiated a contract with them.
Okay, thank you.
Director Adcock.
Vice Mayor, I would like to go back to item number 3. I didn't have it pulled out a few minutes ago because I didn't have the information, but the city attorney has just given me the information I had requested on this.
Okay, and that would be Ed Garland.
Resolution 3.
Mr. Garland, would you?
And I will have all this information to the other directors. What it basically does, last week I met with the city attorney and all of his attorneys. Also, Judge Levitt was at a meeting, and it seemed like that there was just lots of problems with people, particularly the courts tying up the records and everything, because people, particularly elderly people and people that have disabilities, remain in court month and month and month and month after month because they do not have the money to do repairs. We have one neighborhood association that the president has taken upon himself to develop a little fund of money so that when codes come in to a person that cannot do repairs, he himself is doing the repairs and certain individuals are helping with the money. And in looking at that, I thought, okay, on CDBG, if we took a portion of the emergency money or some of the money out of our CDBG and just put it into a fund that when the judge sees that these people cannot pay, and instead of just keeping them in the court month after month and the house deteriorates, then we could have a limit of like $2,000 that the money could come out of this fund then to do these repairs on this home. It would keep the neighborhood. It would also keep the person in their home in lots of cases. So I am going to ask for an amendment to the CDBG funding to start this fund that will then be used to help individuals who need to have some help in doing the repairs that the judge finds them guilty of.
Okay. So just a clarification, rather than a presentation today, you wanted this held separately
Yes.
next Tuesday. Okay, and I apologize for bringing you up here.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Director Peck.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Mr. Lowe, this is for you again. And maybe this is not a lot of money to repair a link belt track hoe, but 130. Oh, that's not you. I'm sorry, Jamie.
Wait,
No, Willie. Sorry.
Tell me which one. And
10. I'm sorry, all of y'all. Let's have a
10.
trio.
10.
10.
Ronnie. I thought it was going to be, or else it's
It's-
not going to be. It's going to be Mr.
But
Benton.
it's public work. It's the link belt track hoe repair. How much are they new?
Ooh,
A whole lot more than $135,000.
about $600,000, 600, 700. They're expensive.
So this rolled over, I guess, and so we have to have it fixed. That just seemed like an expensive repair
I
for a piece
think
of
it's probably going
equipment.
to be more than what's on here. We can't.
Oh.
We've got to get it torn apart to find out what all is really wrong with it. So once we get that torn apart, we'll probably come back for an amendment.
For more money.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay, all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I don't have any more questions on the consent agenda, so we'll go to planning and development. Item 12, any questions? Item 12 and item 15 are actually about the same subject. So item 12 or item 15? Items 13 or 14? Director Hendricks.
If someone would come and show, someone, could you show the properties? We have 3 structures on 13.
Director Hendricks, do you have questions about these?
I'll wait until Bruce comes next week.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Director Wyrick?
Thank you. Mr. Jones, I've been driving through some neighborhoods, particularly West Baseline, Meadowcliff, Brookwood, Ponderosa, and I'm seeing the UV signs up, and they never come before the board. I'd like to have a status on the houses that are UV in Ward 7 to know where we are. I know there was one in West Baseline that I called about, and they said, well, we thought it was coming up before the board, and that's been over a month ago. So I'd like to know where we are on some of these homes.
We'll get a report
I
on that.
don't have the addresses, but I can provide them if you need them.
Well,
but I-
housing should have
Yeah,
a
that's what I'm
listing of what we
thinking.
have.
Okay, thank you.
Could you add Ward 3 to that? We don't have a lot, but we've got several, and I would like to see that as well.
Okay.
Thank you. Questions about any of the items on the agenda for next Tuesday? Mr. Carpenter.
Vice Mayor, we have been working with Exonet for a fiber franchise, and we kept thinking we were just about to get it in. They've sent in the acceptance of the fiber ordinance. Can we have that on the agenda for next week to approve? They wish to start installing fiber, some of which is going to be used by Verizon for its services, and we can get that on the agenda. That would help.
Okay, thank you.
I will send out all the information on Friday.
Thank you. Yes, sir. And Mr. Hinton, and then I have Director Adcock.
Let me correct something I said. I was looking at the money on the wrong resolution. That is the money just in case we have to replace the motor that's in that particular one, so it should be enough money to cover the repair.
Thank you for the clarification. Director Adcock.
Mr. Jones, on item 14, do we have any new information?
Director Adcock, I had Laura place, a question was asked earlier today for a list of the board members and the budget, and Laura has passed that out to everyone.
Did everyone get a copy of that? Okay.
Do you,
Yeah, here it is. Here. Okay.
and then there was a proposal emailed, and I think CareLink was supposed to have a packet for everyone
Okay.
that has,
Yes, we got that. But I still think that there's lots of numbers and stuff missing from this, and that's why I was wondering if there was even more that we should be having. In looking at their expenses, it does not show that they do any expenses for marketing and everything, so I would like to see a copy of their marketing plan for the last year or for at least this year. And have we heard from any of their board of directors, maybe the president of their board or something?
Not to my knowledge.
I think he's an employee. I don't think he's a chair of the, is he the chair also?
There is a chair that is,
Let's look at this. I thought he was chair and CEO.
Well, he's not listed as a board member.
Mr. Mattingly's the CEO. I read on here,
He's
Where
not
there
the
was
president of the board then.
chairman of the board.
I'd like to have the chairman of the board present, to please. And I've got some questions for Mr. Eckhart, please.
Director Hendricks?
Mr. Eckert, see?
I had asked for Mr. Eckhart to,
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant you wanted him next Tuesday.
No. Today.
Good afternoon, Vice Mayor, members of the board.
Mr. Eckhart, you was absent last week when this was up for discussion, and I would like to have your opinion of this, of the services and everything. And we had speakers last week from the Jim Daly Center and from your senior programs. And I think I had some more questions about the people from the senior programs, because I got the idea that maybe we was moving the seniors from the other locations to this location. Is that your idea in this?
Director Adcock, I'm not exactly sure what the proposal would be as far as moving the seniors. I think it would be difficult to move the seniors from their individual centers, based on mobility, based on programs that are already provided at Southwest, West Central, and Dunbar.
Okay. Okay, and on Jim Daly, are we full there yet?
No,
In
ma'am.
our programs?
No, ma'am. We do offer senior classes and similar classes as they do at CareLink, such as Aqua Zumba and Aqua programs, as well as dryland fitness programs for seniors.
And someone mentioned last week that we was looking at making Jim Daly a full family center instead of just an adult center. Is that correct?
As part of our process to improve and expand Jim Daly's reach and really maximize what we do there, we're looking at changing the business model, the pricing structure, and our who we are targeting. So yes, we're looking at more seniors, more families being involved at the Jim Daly Center.
How do you plan on working this families or the children into that center?
It will be similar to a community center setup, but I think we have a lot more components to the facility that we'll have to manage, and how we interact, the kids and the children and the families with what goes on currently.
Okay. I would like to make sure that we do lots of study into that, because I really like that being an adult center, because I think the adults that go there lots of times don't want a bunch of children running around.
Sure.
So, okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Director Hendricks?
I wanted to ask Mr. Jones, are we talking about money for this center already? Has anything been done? I'm not interested in that is where you are, because there are so many other things that we need to take care of. So we're not talking about money that's available yet for the center?
Correct. There is a proposal requesting money for the board to approve or deny.
So you haven't found any money yet?
Mr. Moore has said he will come to the board first week in August with a budget amendment that would include money for this.
Well, let Bruce know that I want to know where that money's coming from, if he's coming to us with that.
Okay?
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Carpenter?
Vice Mayor, it was about item number 15. I was going to make a recommendation that since it comes with the last zoning item, that you actually, the public hearings are usually held at the end, but you could put the public hearing right after it, because this ordinance is just a mess of little easements and things that have popped up over the years, and now the new development needs to get rid of them, and they really all does need to be done at once. It was just a suggestion.
Thank you. And will you all make a note of that, and we can accommodate that? Director Adcock?
Mr. Jones, this is on our agenda to vote on next week. And I think that one thing very important to this board, like Director Hendricks said, is where's the money coming from? And if Mr. Moore is not going to come until August telling us where the money's coming from, is our cart before the horse? Because we're asking to vote and spend $90,000 and we're not knowing where it's going to come from until 2 weeks after we spend it. So should this not be postponed or tabled until after we find out where the money is? But Mr. Jones said it's going to be August before he does it.
He had said August 3rd. I'll visit with him and see if we can't at least have this, have an answer as where the money's coming for this by next week. If not, then postpone it to the 3rd.
Please, I want it postponed until after we know where the money's coming from. Because I'd hate to walk in here one day and some of you all gone and we spent the money at this center and it took your job away from you. So please let me know where it's coming from.
Yes, ma'am.
Director Fortson?
Excuse me, I was just concurring with Director Adcock. I made the motion to defer for 2 weeks. When I made the motion, that was on the assumption we'd know where the money was coming from in 2 weeks. So while we can't make motions here today, I would suggest that we match the two. We consider that whenever we know where the money's coming from.
Director Wyrot?
I agree with the idea that we need to know where the money's coming from. Mr. Moore and Doris have been working on this for a bit. So, and we tried to find out what his game plan was prior to the last meeting we had. So I think we need to know, even though I'm supportive of what the plan is, we need to know where the money's coming from. I just want everybody to know that I'm on the same page.
Thank you. And maybe we can find out about the money next week, a little bit earlier. Director Adcock?
Okay, today is Director Wright's birthday. And I want all of y'all to know that's why she's dressed up so fancy today, because it's her birthday.
Yes.
Happy birthday. We will not sing because it would not be on key.
They did it for me at church.
Okay.
Don't y'all do it.
Okay. Happy birthday.
But anyone that sees her today, please wish her a happy birthday.
Seeing no other questions, we will depart and be back on next Tuesday for the meeting then. So have a good week. Thank you.